Hello everyone and welcome. Today I'm going to be showing you a quick tutorial on how to use the GarageBand application. So to start the GarageBand application, you come down here to your Launchpad and open up the one that looks with the guitar on it called GarageBand. So here's the screen you'll get when you open it up. These are my recent projects, so you won't have any in there unless you've used this application before. So you're going to want to click on New Project, and you're going to want to click on loops. Unless you have a real instrument to use, you do not want to click on things such as piano or electric guitar, because that's if you're plugging a real instrument to your mic. So we're going to use the loops here. And you can see here you can name it, you can name whatever you want. You can change this name later. You can set the tempo of your song. This can all be changed later. Key signature, what key you want it in, whether you want a major or minor. And again, that can all be changed later. So you get this screen. This is what will open up when you start GarageBand. Over here you have different kinds of instruments and you can listen to them, you can click on them. These are called loops, and this is what you will use to build your song. The types of instruments are listed here, whether you want it to be a guitar or a piano or maybe a synthetic instrument. Those are all listed there. So if you find one that you like, you can click on it to preview it. So once you like it, you can click on it and drag it up here. And this will place your loop onto your song, and it will create an instrument line for you, for your loops. Now in order to make this loop longer, if you want it to repeat itself, you can go up here to this top right corner and you can drag it for however long you want it to repeat, and you can do that infinitely, so it will repeat infinite times. And a few more things. If you double click on the instrument, it brings up this menu which will show you the notes that are playing. You can change the pitch of the instrument that's being, the track, the current loop that's being played. So you can do that, and then you can click back here, double click, and it'll drop back down. Your controls down here are pretty basic: rewind, fast forward, start at the beginning, play, and record, which would be recording your voice if you want to, or a new loop, which we'll get to that later. Your loop button, how do you want it to loop or restart. And of course this is the metronome, which will play a beat for you. It's just a metronome beat. So there's that. If you want to add a different line of an instrument, you can find a different one that you want. So we'll go with just a random drum beat, and you can drag that in here to the second line, and now you've created a drum kit line, which will have different properties from this top line, and we'll talk about those properties a little bit later. So that's a majority of stuff right there. Just a few editing things for editing a track. Say you like the little part of the drums and you just want that little beginning section. Well, if you go to the end of this track, you will see this arrow thing pop up, and that will actually cut off your track up to where you decide to cut it off at. So you can cut it off right there and you'll get just that little part. And so that could be useful for repeating just that little part if you wanted it to. And then you can drag that back out to wherever you want it. As for copying a track is pretty easy. If you don't want to use this loop and you want a separate one, you can use Command C. Then up here at the top, drag where you want that to be pasted and click Command V, and now you have two of the same things. You can edit their properties separately now. Well, not for a drum, because a drum you cannot alter the pitch of that, but say for this piano you want one with a pitch of +3 right there. So you can use Command C, click where you want it, and then Command V. And now you can edit that pitch separately of the one up here, the one you started out with. A few more things here. Over here on the loop side, you see these blue and you see the green instruments, the green labels, pictures. The green means it's a software instrument, which it's generated by the computer, and the blue means it's a real instrument, which I'm guessing means it was recorded with a real instrument. It's not created by the computer. So I'm going to show you the differences between a real instrument and a software instrument. A real instrument is meant to be recorded, but they do have preset beats for you that you can use regardless. If you go down over here to this eye on your bottom right, and you go up here to edit, you'll get your what you can do to modify the way this track sounds. Notice we're clicked on real instrument right now. All you can do is add effects to it. You can add a bunch of different effects. Maybe you want to add an echo to it, and you can change what kind of echo you want. There's loads of effects, and we're not going to get into details about them, but to turn an effect off, you can just click this light up button right here, and that will turn it off. In the same way you can turn one back on by clicking it there. Master track up here just lets you look at the master track. Here you can change the tempo, the signature, the time signature, whether you want 4/4, 6/8, whatever you want. And again, you can change the key, and you can change major or minor. And that all saves automatically. You don't need to click save there. You can go on the right side here, and you can add in your own songs as loops for more advanced things. You can also add in pictures. That's just for your own content that you want to add in. So we're going to go back here on the eye. And now we're going to use a software instrument. Now a software instrument, there's a little more features you can do with this. In addition to the normal effects, you can choose what kind of instrument you want to generate the sound. So for the piano, for instance, it's currently generating a piano sound. But perhaps you want it to generate a bass sound, or maybe you want it to be a guitar. So you can just change what kind of sound you want it, and it'll sound different too. So we can go back to the beginning and take a look. So now it sounds like a guitar instead of a piano. If you want to, you can go up here and rename it now. Double click and you can rename it to guitar. And it should be noted that when you change this sound generator, it will affect your entire instrument line, even if you have different tracks. So this track here and this track here will now both be guitars. It's affected this entire line. And again, you can go back down here to loops and you can click another loop. So whatever you want to add. That is the majority of this tutorial. I guess just a few more things. Up here you can click share. You can send your song to iTunes if you want. You know, whatever you want to do. This should be noted that in the editor track you will have a little thing like this. This represents the end of your track, the final measure. And so you can drag that wherever you want to. Normally that shouldn't be too big of a problem. It'll normally just do that automatically. Over here with your tracks, the headphones, when you click on those, will let you listen to that line only, that instrument line only. And clicking this, well, the mute button will mute that track only. And this left and right dial, you can adjust how much, where you want the sound to be at, whether you want it to be on the left speakers or the right speakers. That's your choice. And also the volume of this track line, you can edit that as well. And finally, with the software instruments, we can have something called musical typing. So if you click on that, it brings up this musical keyboard, which you can create your own notes if you want. And that's where the recording comes into effect. You can, when you click the record button, it will record over your other tracks if you're not on a blank line. So we'll make a new recording. And then you can stop that. And now you'll notice you've created a new line using the musical keyboard.
26 to 33.
Mm.
Can you help Shannon with something?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, would you please? When you get a second, I'll show you what he's doing. I don't know how to do it.
And that is it for today's tutorial. Hope this helps. And now you can see that you now have a new loop that you have created yourself. It is a software loop, so it has all the capabilities that a software instrument would have. And notice you cannot move real instruments onto a software instrument line, and vice versa. You cannot move a software instrument onto a real instrument line. So that's just something to keep in mind. And you can switch them between each other. You can switch green ones between green ones and blue ones between blue ones, but you can never have them on the same line with a different color. So that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps.